Boxing is an intense and pure gladiatorial combat sport, and therefore athletes, as they are, always have to be at their peak. We've talked to our protagonists about their preparation and training regimes. It's absolutely fascinating. Can you talk us through your training regime getting ready to fight?
Every day is different, especially when your husband is your coach. You know, every day is something different, something better. Usually it's lots of running, lots of sparring, lots of strength and conditioning work, lots of pad work, swimming.
Yeah, we do quite a lot of strength and conditioning outside of when we get the call for the fight, but on the lead up to the fight, then we really knuckle down in the gym, you know, with a lot of sparring and pad work and stuff like that, you know.
So the training regime is very much structured out in place. You know, I have my running sessions, I have my boxing technical sessions, strength and conditioning sessions. I've got a great coach behind me, Paul Webber, who is extremely knowledgeable when it comes to boxing and the strength and conditioning.
Lauren, she runs about 3 or 4 times a week. Obviously we go out sparring regular as well. She probably does condition about 5 times a week, which is based a lot on weightlifting as well, weight training for boxing.
All round, I've got a great structure and plan put in place. Pre-fight, we do a lot of building, and then as the fight comes up, depending on how many weeks we've got, we'll play on that and work out a specific structure, what is needed to go forward and basically make me the best possible fighter that I can be. So yeah, I think I've got a very, very good balance all round, and yeah, it brings out the best in me.
I train in the morning, which is like fartlek kind of run, up and down like country hills and stuff. I'll go to work, and then I'd come back from work, train on the evening, about 4 till 5. I'd more than likely spar 3 times a week, strength and conditioning twice a week, and then interval sessions, circuits. It just depends on the sort of week that you're about to have or what period the lead up to the fight as such.
How do you prepare your mind for a fight?
I actually watch a lot of podcasts on motivation and, you know, how to treat yourself right and how to be kind to yourself. Like, I have a lot of support around me with my family and Jared as well, and the most person who I talk to the most, he's only 2 years old and he hears everything. It's my son Kiefer, so he's my biggest support.
We're in the professional game, yeah, we know why we're doing this, and we know the ultimate goal is becoming world champion. I do get that through to Christina quite a lot, why we're doing this. We're not just here to make up the numbers, you know.
Do you know what, I think I'm pretty good mindset-wise. Sometimes I need a little bit of help, because I can sometimes do this, and I think all fighters go through that. One good thing is that I've got a really, really good network behind me, a good family unit. My coach is great, you know, so sometimes if I'm having a down day, I'll just ring either of them up and say, listen, I need to talk or whatever, and they can literally just switch me like that.
We do talk a lot about what could happen throughout the fight. Just in general, I think all the way through the training camp, sometimes it can be a bit up and down, a bit emotional sometimes, because you're going through a lot. The training's really heavy, what with the dieting. It's just about getting through to Lauren what she's capable of doing and where we're heading with it.
I'd just say that I prepare my mind and just think, like, to be confident. With training, like, you get more confidence the more spar you have, the better you perform. Even though I'm only 21, I do feel experienced in this game. Like, I've been doing it from the age of 10, and obviously travelling the world is just put a massive experience on my shoulders. I just feel like the more confidence you have, the better you perform, and then obviously I know what I'm capable of.
What are the biggest challenges that female fighters face preparing for a fight?
I think so many female fighters have to have a second job, and I think fitting around potentially being a mother and having a career and having to train and fight, it is very difficult. And I also think there's an entire menstrual cycle that needs to be talked about. There's not enough research and not enough understanding that's gone into female boxing.
For me personally, it's trying to prepare everything correctly and still trying to be a mother at the same time. Throughout camp, sometimes my son he would get sick and he picks up a lot of illnesses from Chris. So for me personally, I would find it's hard to prepare whenever your son is sick. but we make it work, and as I say, he's in creche and we have a lot of support, so we do get the work done no matter what, but that just makes it a bit harder to prepare.
The female body is different from the male body, and there's certain times of the month where maybe they might be feeling 100%, so you got to try and work your training around that there, you know, and there's going to be good days and bad days.
I think sometimes emotionally we can be quite up and down. Physically as well, we have some physical things to maybe have to deal with. But to be honest, it's a hard question, but if I speak to myself, I don't really have that many issues that I really go through. You know, I kind of see myself as the same as, I don't know, I'm different to obviously the blokes, but I kind of look at it as I try and look at it as we're all equal, and yeah, I don't really feel there's any problems.
I'd say sort of like weight management is a good one for women that can give rise to like men, I suppose, because obviously we have our like time of the month and such, and obviously that's been generalised as even the fact that it does affect it, but obviously because we've done it for such a long time, we know our bodies, and I think that's really important for a woman to understand that.
Part of my job and why I've got involved is because I think that's really important. We need to focus on how it affects people, and women retain water, the cutting of weight before a fight can be incredibly dangerous, and there's just not enough research around how it works and how it affects the female body, which we'll undertake.
The biggest challenges the female fighters face is obviously the scrutiny. They are going to get compared to them male fighters, and they're not going to get the acknowledgement of how hard they've worked. They work just as hard as these male fighters as well. I don't think that is recognised at this moment in time. We need to appreciate these people and what they are doing, because it is a hard industry to make your mark in.
I think the biggest challenge for girl boxers at the moment is, I think it's twofold, or maybe threefold actually. It's getting the respect they deserve, which I think that's gone a long way now with what's happening in female sport. It's getting, in better payment terms and getting purses that reflect their ability and the work they've put in. Yeah, they're not on as much as the fellas, but that don't mean that they should be sometimes made to box for next to nothing. And I think the other thing is getting the right fights from, it's not a massive pool you're pulling from when you're looking to build girls and get them the experience they need to go forward.
What other challenges do you face in your life outside boxing, and how do you overcome them?
I don't know, I don't think I really have a lot of problems outside of boxing. I'm straight up, straightforward. I take everything as it comes, and as I say, if I ever need the lash out, Jared mostly gets it. But yeah, I have a good support system, so I never feel too much under pressure, and I'm always just calm and looking forward to getting on with my day, and just being with my family and my son and my husband, and that's what keeps me happy at all times.
So alongside boxing, I have got my own business. I'm a self-employed personal trainer. I've got my own studio, which I'm very fortunate to have. But do you know what? I've kind of allowed that to work with my boxing. So I've had to manage it so that I've cut my work down a little bit so that I can put more time into the boxing. So I don't really face too many challenges because I feel like I've got the ability to work around it to make it suit me. So yeah, I'm very fortunate in that aspect.
I'm quite fortunate really. I work for one of my sponsors, so I actually work in the HR department for a security company. We currently works at Commonwealth Games as well, which was massive. But I feel like that balance of working 8 till 3 every day, Monday to Friday, gives me that chance to train in the morning, get that sorted, and then train in the afternoon as well. But also have that life balance as well, so I feel like I'm not stuck at work, but then also have obviously the amount of time to train. And for example today, doing like media and press conferences and boxing, it gives me that time off that I'm allowed to, and obviously that break away from work so I can actually do stuff I need to do for boxing.
How do you recover and relax after a fight?
I like doing active recovery, like swimming, walking, biking. We do a lot of walking. We have dogs as well, so we do a lot of walking with the dogs, and the tail and the pram, and we do loads of active recovery, and he loves swimming too.
We have 2 big German Shepherd dogs, and we like to go bike riding with a seat purposely built for Kiefer on the back of one of the bikes, so just going for walks and stuff like that, and We don't really drink. Well, Christina doesn't drink. I would have a once in a blue moon, maybe for my birthday, have a beer. But so we're a pretty fit kind of family unit.
I just like to unwind in an active way, and I picked up football too. So I was playing football for about 5 or 6 weeks. So that was kind of active recovery too. Yeah, shout out to Belfast Swifts.
I'm quite normal really. I'd say like bit of Netflix, chill, like I'm quite normal in that sense. I'd like a nice spa day.
I think it's really important to be around family and friends, and like I said, I've got a good network behind me. So yeah, it's just important to chill out. You know, I go out, have some good food, relax, just, I know, simple things like going out for walks, or I've just become an auntie now, so spending time with the little ones really, really good, and just completely switching off from boxing, because I think that's important. You know, a lot of my time and energy is used focusing purely on boxing, and you just really need to come away from that. And if I look at myself back in the day, take me back a few years ago, I'd be told to have a week off and I'd find that really difficult. Whereas now I'm like, no, I now know the importance of actually having that time off, because otherwise it all rolls into one and it can be very, very samey, and then you get bored of it, or you get like, oh, it just becomes an effort. Just taking time out, completely relax, and just do anything but boxing. I think that's important.
The success, perhaps, of a female boxer is down to how they balance their lives. Some are mothers, some are not, some have other working lives. But how they condition themselves physically and mentally will probably dictate how successful they are in this sport.